Into our CitrusTV studios, football analyst Varun Raghupathi. So on Monday, it's announced that Terrell Hunt will be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks, which is basically the rest of the season. So coming into arguably one of the hardest games of the season so far for the Orange, Florida State, Syracuse has to depend on a new quarterback, but not just a new quarterback, but a new play caller with Tim Lester assuming offensive coordinating duties. So where does the offense stand in all of this?
Well, it's certainly hard to argue that Florida State is the toughest opponent for Syracuse this year, the #1 team in the country, defending national champions. And it's going to be tough for Tim Lester and Austin Wilson because of that. It's really tough to learn how to be an offensive coordinator in a week. That goes without saying. But Lester not only has to step in, he's got to do it with a quarterback that's taken 20 snaps, or rather completed 20 or 11 passes out of 20 attempts for not even 100 yards. So for those two guys to both be thrown in against Florida State, the first game, really welcome to Division I college football, if you ask me. It's going to be a very, very tough road for those two. Even if they do manage to play well, it'll probably be like more of a moral victory for them.
Yeah, well, we talked about how it's going to be a tough game for the Orange, but it was already a pretty unlikely win for the team, so how much more unlikely is it now?
A lot more. You're going to see the deer in the headlights effect. When Austin Wilson takes his first snap from under center, he's going to look up and see Florida State Seminoles on every single jersey that's in front of him, and that is intimidating. Even though Florida State's defense isn't as good as it was last year, it's still part of the #1 team in the country and a team that hasn't lost since November 2012. So for Syracuse to have any chance against Florida State, you can't really say that they do, because Wilson, even if he plays well again, it's going to be that inexperience that comes in with pretty much every single throw.
So assuming that this is going to be a tough one for the Orange, the team needs 4 more wins to potentially be bowl eligible. So how likely is it that we'll be seeing some postseason football action for the Orange?
It's honestly not very likely, because not only does Syracuse play Florida State this week, it doesn't really have an easy game the rest of the way. Wake Forest is next. There's NC State, Duke, Pitt, BC. They have to win 4 games, and none of these are contests where you can pencil them in, okay, that's an easy W. Pitt and BC are always tough at the end of the year. Duke was in the ACC championship game last year. Then you got at Clemson. You can pencil that one in as probably a big loss again in Death Valley. So for Syracuse, it will definitely be a tough road. 4 wins, maybe 5, but most likely not a bowl game this year.
Yeah, well, a tough road ahead for the Orange. Thanks, Varun.